Hey guys, I am trying to come up with a way to kind of dispel some myths and um, bad advice, just straight up bad advice people are getting for the Series 7 exam, for the SIE exam, all the FINRA exams. So, as a Series 7 tutor for the Series 7 exam and the SIE exam, I come across people come in and they go, I thought this, I thought that. So, I'm going to try to help you out. And actually, I stopped in the middle because one of my students passed and she gave me some great advice that I'm going to get to later that she said really helped her on the exam. So that's kind of try to be my hook where I try to make you stay. But if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. So one of the biggest, worst, best for me, bad for you advice that everyone comes in with is just take a lot of tests. Everyone says it. Take a lot of tests, take a lot of tests. That's what you're getting. And that was good advice 40 years ago, 30 years ago. It's not the case anymore. Yeah, there's always a guy who does it or the girl who does it because they're great at test taking. But it's not the case. Most people have to read the damn book. I have a few students that have come to me and they wouldn't read the book and I got them to pass it, but it was hard because you got to explain everything and you got to go over it. And I tell them they're not allowed to tell anyone that they did that because it's bad advice. Read the damn book. Okay? You don't have to memorize it. Don't take a lot of notes. Just read the damn book. I don't care whose book it is. If it's a SAE exam, you got STC, you got Achievable, the link in my website. You have Kaplan, Notman, Past Perfect. Read the damn stuff. Just read it. Okay? Don't and then you want to take tests, that's fine, but don't just take tests because I have so many students come to me, I got 80s on the exams and then I fail. And then they think it's STC or Kaplan's or Notman's fault. But I say, well, what happened when you're reading the book? They go, well, I didn't. I just took tests. That doesn't work. Yes, again, it works for some people, but if it worked, you wouldn't be on this video looking for help. So basically, everyone I'm talking to right now, read the damn book. Okay? I can't say that enough. Okay. Okay. Now, another thing is they all think there's a bell curve. It's not a bell curve. I mean, maybe it gets a little easier in the beginning and the end, but it's not truly a bell curve. It's random. I've taken the exams. There's not a bell curve. It doesn't get harder in the middle. There's waves. It's just what you're strong at, what you're not strong at. If it's a bunch of options and you suck at options, well, then that's going to be the bad part. But if you can't remember dates, well, then that's going to be the bad part. Or say munis you suck at, that's going to be the bad part, and it's going to feel like it. It doesn't get easier or harder. I mean, maybe they have the last two questions or the first couple are easy, but that's random. It's not like it's set up that way. Also, they don't make the test harder. It's not it's not like the second time you take it they made it harder and harder. They don't. The other rumor everyone gets is, oh, if you get one wrong, they start asking you more questions on that. No. They've created the exam. If you're taking it today, they created the exam 3 days ago. They're not changing it. I think the GRE does that. Everyone you get right, it gets harder and harder. Not this. This exam is set. Also, there is a curve, not a bad curve, a good curve. So what happens is there are certain questions that, I'll put it this way. When I talk to people out there, they say they every question percentage, like how many people get it right or wrong. So the 97 percenters, the ones where basically everyone gets them right, like what's a call? Is it the right to buy or sell? Those kind of things. They are they're for a point. They're worth whatever they are. But the really harder ones, they kind of curve it. Like they'll give you a little boost. So if you have a really, really hard exam, you might actually not actually get 70%, but they'll score it because it was so hard that you did the equivalent of 70%. You're not compared to other people taking the test that day because they couldn't do that, but it's based on the difficulty of the exam. So they've never explained it to me in detail, but pretty much probably what happens is when they create the exam, there's a score on it, basically, of how hard the test is, and it bumps your score up. It doesn't bump it down, bumps it up. Okay. So now, that's a couple of the myths. One, there's no bell curve. It doesn't get harder. The second time you take the exam, it might feel harder. And it's not because it got harder. It's because you studied more, hopefully, and you can answer more questions. Instead of bailing on, like, when you take it the first time and you're not prepared, you're going to bail on like 15, 20 questions. They don't even cross your mind. You're like, I don't know it. But then, like, after they work with me for the Series 7 exam or the SIE exam, after they failed it, they come to me, which they should come first, but they come after. They're ready for it. So what happens is instead of bailing on those questions, they're actually able to answer those questions. So the test, instead of being at a 110 question quiz because you don't know 25, you're taking the full 135 because you can at least try all of them. You may not own them, but you can try all of them, so it will feel harder. So here's the interesting part. What I tell people is get the timing down and then take a break every 40 minutes. But the girl today, who just called me like 10 minutes ago, she passed. We weren't sure. She came to me after she failed once. I started meeting her on Friday, and we bumped her score up. She took it today. By the way, today's Monday. So she said, since you can't go back to your locker, you go in, you have a locker, you put it in there, you lock everything up. I told her to take a break every 40 questions, just to kind of refresh yourself and get a new vision. She told me that they told her, oh, you can't go in your locker, but if you want a drink or a snack, you can leave it outside the locker. And she did. So she took one break, got a drink of water, then she was kind of hungry. And always eat before the exam, not eat. She actually left half a turkey sandwich in outside the locker. So when she took her second break, she sat down quickly. You can't take your time. Clock still runs. And she ate a turkey sandwich. So she went back in there for the second half of the exam and was full and wasn't hungry or anything. So that's actually interesting. So if you bring a bottle of water or a little power bar, I'm not saying to bring a steak sandwich, but if you bring a power bar or a drink, they might let you leave it outside the locker so you can get it. Remember, if you take a break, you're going out, you're signing in, all the stuff. You're going through the whole thing again, but it should help you. If you can take a break, sometimes it helps. So that's my little thing that I just learned today is that you can leave your food outside. If, again, don't leave a 5-course meal, but you can leave a power bar or something out so that if you feel like you're panicking or hungry and distracted, you can grab one that you have already. So if you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe. Tell people. I'm doing a live. Today's Monday, so I'm doing it Tuesday. Every Tuesday now for the rest of the year, unless there's a holiday or my daughter's lacrosse games are in the way, I'll be doing a live. So I'm doing a live tomorrow night, Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Please join and ask some questions. Love helping. I will talk to you all later.